Bonsoir everyone and welcome to Chacha Paranormal. Today I'm going to tell you about the mysteries of a spectacular place known all over the world, Mont Saint-Michel. Originally, Mont Saint-Michel was described as a pyramidal granite mountain. It is surrounded by two other mounts, Mont Saint-Michel and Mont Dol. These three mounts form an inseparable trio in local legends. Legends that go back to the dawn of time. Stories of giants come up again and again. One legend says that the giant Gargantua was the accidental creator of these three mounts. While traveling, three pebbles supposedly got stuck in his boot. Annoyed, the giant threw them away to get rid of them, and when they hit the ground, three mounts rose from the earth. Others say Gargantua placed these stones on purpose, using them as stepping stones to cross the sea between Normandy and Brittany. And then there's another version entirely. Gargantua and his parents were traveling westward, each carrying an enormous rock to prove their strength to King Arthur. Along the way, his parents caught a deadly fever in the marshes. Merlin the Enchanter buried them in the sand and marked their graves with the rocks they had carried. In short, we don't really know what Gargantua did, but he definitely stopped by. And he wasn't the only giant to mess around here. According to legend, the niece of a Celtic king was abducted by giants. One of them was named Dinabuc, sometimes described not as a giant but as a dragon. Honestly, no one seems quite sure. King Arthur himself is said to have come to the rescue to save the young woman. The landscape we know today looked nothing like this in the ancient times. Medieval monk scribes tell us that this bay was once home to a vast oak forest, an ancient forest known as the Forest of Sissi, inhabited by Druids and Druidesses. Then in the year 709, catastrophe struck. A monstrous tsunami caused the sea level to rise dramatically, swallowing everything in its path, the immense forest and entire villages. When the sea finally withdrew, the mount became a lonely island, surrounded by shifting sands. And that wasn't the only disaster. For centuries, violent earthquakes shook the region, accompanied, it was said, by deep rumbling sounds rising from the ground, enough to terrify entire populations. In an even more distant past, during the time of the Druids, megalithic stones stood atop the mount. These stones were believed to be part of a temple built to honor extremely ancient solar cults. As guardians of the three mounts, the Druid protected sacred passages, leading to other planes and other dimensions, gateways to other realities. There was also a strange, very dark stone with unusual acoustic properties, the speaking stone. During ceremonies, a druid seer was said to have the power to make the stone speak. The sounds it emitted were believed to be the voices of the gods. Beneath the crypt supposedly lay the druidic sanctuary, near a sacred spring fed by a vast and extremely deep underground water table flowing to the very entrails of the planet. This sacred water, legend says, could be accessed from other holy sites around the world. After the area of Druids came that of the Druidesses. There were always 9 of them. They officiated on the mount, performing rituals, oracles, and ceremonies. It was said they sold magical arrows to sailors, arrows capable of calming raging seas, and that they could summon rain. Their reputation was, let's say, rather scandalous. Celibacy was clearly not on the agenda. Later, the Romans drove them away to build altars dedicated to Jupiter. The Druids are said to have fled to the forest of Sicily. During antiquity, the cult of Belenos, the Gaulish god of the sun, health and the arts, was practiced on the 3 months. But now, let's talk about the Christian creation of Mont Saint-Michel as we know it today. On the night of October the 16th, 708, Bishop Aubert of Avranches claimed to have been visited in a dream by the Archangel Saint-Michel. The Archangel asked him to build a sanctuary in his honor on the mount. Disturbed and doubting his own sanity, the bishop initially did nothing. But faced with his disbelief, Saint-Michel reappeared a second time, then a third, and the third time the archangel was slightly annoyed. To prove that he was very real, Saint-Michel poked the bishop in the skull, literally leaving a hole. Yes, when Saint-Michel asks you to do something, it's probably best to not make him repeat himself. The relic of the bishop's perforated skull can still be seen today. Convinced at least, the bishop agreed to build the sanctuary. But he didn't know where to place the first stone. A new dream revealed a clue. The site would be where a stolen bull was hidden. The animal was found near the summit. One problem remained. A massive rock blocked all construction. Another dream revealed that the rock would be moved by one of the sons of a local man. Every son tried and failed, except one. The father had left his newborn at home. When he returned with the baby, the infant gave the rock a tiny kick. A rock weighing several tons rolled down the mount, and construction could finally begin. But Saint-Michel's presence may have marked this place long before that. Legend tells of an ancient battle between Saint-Michel and the devil himself. The devil had built a magnificent palace out of the mount. Enraged, Saint-Michel built a crystal palace on the Mont Dol. Driven by envy, the devil accepted an exchange, unaware it was a trap. The crystal palace melted, because it was actually made of ice. The devil tried to reclaim the mount by force, and failed. Since its consecration to Saint-Michel, the mount has been the site of miracles. One tale speaks of a blind woman who regained her sight the moment she stepped onto the surrounding sounds. In the Middle Age, a pregnant woman trapped by the tide was supposedly saved by an apparition of the Virgin Mary. The most disturbing accounts date back for the 14th and 15th centuries. Children, sometimes coming from Germany or Poland, walked hundreds of kilometers, guided by an invisible force, to reach the mount and venerate the archangel despite their parents' objection. One mother who tried to stop her daughter reportedly lost her voice until she finally let her go. Now let's talk about the mysterious discoveries made in the bay over the last few centuries. During the construction of the first sanctuary, Bishop Aubert is said to have uncovered fragments of the speaking stone, along with other Druidic remains. On his orders, they were buried in a secret location beneath the mount, never to be found again. In the 14th century, a noble astrologer named Tiphaine de Ragnel settled in a house on the mount. She attempted to summon a spirit to reveal the future. Unfortunately, the spirit turned out to be a goblin, living in a hole near a cistern. Later, an abbot sealed the hole, convinced it led straight to hell. In the year 1547, work began in the crypt. An architect ordered mysterious excavations. A sealed opening was discovered and reopened. One worker entered and never returned. The next day, another disappeared. Witnesses claimed to hear distant roars echoing from below. Terrified, the architect ordered the opening sealed. The next day he became frantic, ordering digging everywhere, insisting they must find the water entrance. Nothing was found. Then the architect vanished forever. Strange property buyout offers followed. Huge sums were proposed. Those who refused were asked for permission to drill beneath their homes. In the following century, a baron resumed the work under royal order, uncovering an ancient passage, resembling a catacomb. At the end lay a massive pile of human bones, mixed with enormous remains resembling exotic animals, along with very old objects. Everything was sealed again 3 weeks after submitting his report to the king. The baron was arrested for reason of state and found dead 2 days later in his cell. Later still, Nicolas Fouquet acquired land on Tomblaine. He ordered wells dug, then bought a house near the crypt on the mount. Digging continued. He often visited with his friend, the painter Nicolas Poussin. One night, a storm trapped them. The next morning, the island was empty. Witnesses claimed to have seen them leaving a house on the mount at dawn. A hidden tunnel, perhaps. Fouquet sealed the wells. His property was confiscated by the king and destroyed. Excavation from the 17th century on Tomblaine revealed remains linked to Mithraïc sacrifices, including bull bones. A cult dating back nearly 3 centuries before Christ. On the mount's side lies the dangerous stone, a sacred druidic stone sailors saluted until the end of the 20th century, fearing bad luck otherwise. Even today, some geobiologists claim the mount contains energy vortexes, especially in the crypt. 3 guardian entities are said to protect spatio-temporal portals. I'll be honest, I've been to the Mont Saint-Michel several times, and it has always given me chills. It's beautiful, impressive, but also extremely austere and deeply mysterious. And you, what do you think? Tell me in the comments, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.